this. But yeah, it's a Ryan mirror match.
Ryan versus
Two
Ryan.
Ryans.
Oh, man.
So yeah, if you just want to...
Whoever played the original Guild Wars?
I'll figure out which Ryan is which.
I
Ryan
see.
D and Ryan P, I think.
Wow. Both these decks are very interesting. So the Rye guy, Ryan, is playing a Orcish Bowmaster Psychic Frog Abhorrent Oculus version of Frogtide. So I don't think there's only 3 Murktide Regents in this list. And there's 2 main deck Harbinger of the Seas and 2 Sink into Stupors. And 4 Unearth, the full 4 on this list. And then there's 4 Thought Scour, 2 Spell Snare, 4 Consider. It doesn't look like there's any Preordains in this list. Yeah, so we are on 4 Consider, 4 Thought Scour. So this is like the Turbo Oculus version. So we have the Turbo Oculus version of Frogtide on one side, and then on the other, we have the Delirium Jund-based aggro deck. So we got 2 crazy cool decks here for you guys in round 3.
All right,
so
which one is Ryan D? He's on...
Ryan Desmarais is on the Jund Delirium.
Jund Delirium.
I don't even know how to spell Delirium, ladies and gentlemen. So
I took a guess. And Ryan P is on Turbo Oculus. Oh, it's an I.
Yeah.
Of course, I messed it up here. Delirium. Delirium, cool.
And then, yeah, we got Turbo Frogtide is what I would call it. Or
what if we called it Turbo IHOP?
Or you can call it Frogulus if you want. Yeah, Frogulus.
I like IHOP.
IHOP is pretty cool.
IHOP?
Yeah.
I frogs?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Bouncing eyeballs. We got it. This is the new name, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Murktide on Murktide, baby. So there may be a mulligan here. Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. It's cutting a race face, cutting blues, cutting more good returns, like finally! Did you look at it? It was like $40. Oh, yeah, it's done. It's done. Congratulations. If Matthew was here, you would shake his hand. All right, let's start off. Two street race. Don't even bother looking at the first one and fetching in between. We're just gonna do 2 right away. There's 0 sequencing in this game. We got it though. Perfect. Fetch. Go. Fetch. All right, so Turbo IHOP. I can suspect that we have a Undercity Sewer coming in. There we go. Surveil right off the top. Let's see what he's looking for. Yeah, no point cutting your deck. Your opponent's already going to rig it. There we go. Fetch it to the bottom. He doesn't want more lands. We got a counterspell coming up at the top. I can see another Flooded Strand getting played here for another fetch land. Just to set up your developments there, so... Seems like there's a little bit more of a reactive side of the hand on the IHOP deck, and then we have Delirium coming in with a commercial district. So back to the thinning conversation we had before. These cards are great. Obviously, they're setting up for their turn 2s. Ryan didn't like his Surveil, but Ryan didn't like his Surveil either. Or he liked it, in other words, and put a Detective's Phoenix into the graveyard. Fear of missing out is my assumption for the play this turn.
All right, who's winning?
Oh, both players surveilled, so they're both winning.
Free cards.
Free cards. Definitely free cards on Ryan Desmer's
Yeah,
spot.
did Ryan turn his surveil into Entomb?
Into a Phoenix.
That's Entomb.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Entomb lands.
And he played 2 street race with no sequencing in between, no fetch lands in between, just said, you know what,
Just
I'm just going to
balls
draw
to the
3.
wall, bop,
Just going
bop.
to draw 3 this turn on my upkeep.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the
There's
FOMO.
FOMO.
Yeah. Let's see. I think it's going to match Ryan P's counterspell here for sure, because
Yup.
he wants to stop board state from developing. Like, I think if the game goes long, I'm actually not too sure who's the real winner, but I do know that a Born Oculus will always be like probably the end game winner.
Yeah,
I don't even know if Murktide's actually going to be the big winner in this situation, because the Jund Delirium aggro deck could just go so wide so quickly.
And tall. Like
Yes.
if you just get very large very quickly.
Yeah,
I played against both these decks a couple times.
The Omnivore's Flytrap is an interesting card, to say the very least.
Oh.
Well, now I know who won.
Main deck,
Yeah.
Flood Moon.
Yeah, Flood Moon with a fetchable swamp is coming up, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
Only a 1-up swamp.
You only need the one.
Yeah, and I respect the Euro lands. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ryan Desmer has a land full of islands, but no counter spells.
Yes. Nice mono blue deck over there.
Yeah.
Mono blue Delirium.
Is
an
there
interesting deck
dismembers in
choice.
his list? Let's look.
He's
Grist,
got
Bauble, Tarfire, Thoughtseize, Violent Outsurge, Malevolent Rumble, Creatures.
and only one forest, one mountain. So he's
There's no swamp.
No swamp
Okay.
either.
Tarfire kills it. So here we are. This is the game plan.
He's got a
he's
Rip
going with
Mountain
it.
and then Tarfire.
It
Hopefully
has
get
to be
countered.
Mountain Tarfire.
Ooh, it's gonna be a little harder now that Ryan draws
that's
2 cards a
not fair.
turn.
That guy played a frog.
Yeah, just slap down another island and pass turn.
Oh god, don't be an Oculus. Oh, well.
Oh,
hey.
because Ryan's currently staring at Unearth, hey?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's on
Yeah.
the
I was like,
Unearth
come on,
version.
man. Like, don't do him dirty like this. But
Ooh, okay, a second
hey,
flood
you
has
know what?
to end it,
I
right?
didn't write the rules for this game, but if I played second Flood Moon, I think my opponent would concede.
Yes.
You don't
I
even
would
have to
concede.
draw the card, dude. Ryan, play the second Flood Moon and give your other half a half-decent chance at conceding.
Yeah.
Is he not beating
No,
two of
he's
them?
toyed with them
Come
now. He's
on
fucking with them.
now.
He's like, I'll be able to just play
Don't
this.
even. Oh my god, just play the second
Gotta
Flood Moon.
give your opponent hope.
Oh my
Gotta give your
God.
opponent hope.
Come on. That's
But
not
I mean,
fair.
also, like, this is also a window that, I mean, does Ryan already have removal spell in hand? So
All
if
he had
rips
to do was
Mountain-
play Flood Moon and discard a bunch of
All
cards
right,
and have
well,
like a
there's
10-10 frog
Tarfire
type.
to taunt you.
Yeah.
Doing some math here. The nice thing about this board state is that you don't have to do math. You just count how many islands you have in play.
Yeah. There's a Tarfire, but no mountain. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Bop, bop.
discard the cards, win the game. You can do it, man.
All right, Ryan sees the
Oh,
writing on the
wow,
wall.
come on,
Doesn't
come
even have
on.
to reveal it. So
I'm just. The worst card in my hand is the second Flood Moon. You're a liar. Come on. There was other worse cards in your hand.
look, Ryan's playing the long game of concealing deck information, I guess. you know?
That is. Well, you could have discarded one of the lands or the Murktide.
Coulda.
Come on.
give him a bone,
Come
huh?
on. Just
Help him out a little bit.
time's a factor, ladies and gentlemen, and if you can like save 2 turns off the clock, that might be the 2 turns you go to time. Not that I know everything about tournament magic, but come on, man, like this is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've played in a fair number of tournaments to know a thing or two, but
you just play the second Flood Moon. Come on, dude, you can't beat 2.
I feel like yeah. Maybe you
on,
beat the
dude.
first one, the second one though you're never beating. Like
He just plays Oculus just to justify the
jams.
$40 price tag.
That's
that
all
card
I.
is way too expensive. Holy shit. Yeah, he's like, well, I've got 6 cards in my graveyard. I mean, if I don't do it,
Well,
why
if
did
I-
I put him in the first place?
Yeah.
It's like I threw those cards away for nothing.
And then I don't know if he revealed the manifest. Isn't that a?
No, I think you're supposed to.
Yes. So the morph rule changed when cons came out. You just reveal everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think because there probably is some argument that it doesn't matter to reveal it because Yeah, when you were morphing, you had to prove that your morph
There
creature
was a
was
creature,
a morph.
but now you just reveal anything that's,
Yeah.
that's concealed.
Right? Because like, yeah, like you could argue that you
Because
don't
even
have
even
to,
even
'cause-
exile face down is revealed at the end of the game
Yes.
as well. Like everything concealed is revealed when a player loses or concedes. Right?
Yeah.
Everything gets revealed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't hide that anymore. But
yeah, which like is a bit of a weird like purgatory zone of like when the game has ended, right? Because like, you know, there are people that have been like, I'm gonna, or you know, like I Jace alt you,
Yeah.
you know, flip your library, like let me look, you're like I concede,
Yeah.
and then you conceal,
Well,
right?
if you concede before, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's a weird window where it's like you concede, it's like, Kate, let me look
Yeah.
at your shit before you sideboard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a sad showing from Delirium there. They got one spell countered, then lost the game. So,
Well, there was no Thoughtseize Goyf, so like of course it
No.
lost. Like it's just like.
this is at the end of the day a Jund deck. So you
Yes.
have to Thoughtseize Goyf.
But like you have Goyf still. Like
Yeah.
you have a better
you
Goyf.
have a Goyf.
Dude, this card's better.
Nether Goyf? Oh,
I think it's
clearly.
100% better. Like
Then Tarmogoyf? Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't it just have all the same text plus upside?
its power
Only
toughness is
your
based on
graveyard.
your graveyard, but it's half the cost.
Yeah.
But it's gaining like say 3/4 of the power a Tarmogoyf normally would.
Yeah.
Like I understand that Tarmogoyf like grew bigger faster because you thought seized your opponent, but like
Yeah.
what if you just Street Wraith Mishra's Bauble Dragon Ray Channeler? Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, well, your 1 mana 4/5 is gonna be always bigger
Yeah.
than your opponent. Oh, I cracked a fetch and surveilled.
Yeah.
Right? Like the dynamic is so different now.
Right,
it-
and like
it-
even then, like you're outputting more damage before
Yes,
before the old Goyf would even get into play.
You're getting a bigger attack first,
Yes.
right? Like, yeah. When I saw Nether Goyf, I was just like, wow, they're literally printing a 1 mana Tarmogoyf. Like,
Yeah.
It's just. And it
'Cause,
has
like,
escape. It has
yeah.
escape. It's like a Titan all by itself.
Yeah.
Like, what is this card?
Yeah.
And it costs the mana, but it only costs 4 types. Like, you could technically get rid of an Urza Saga and a Tarfire, and it would just come out.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Escape 2
Yeah.
basically reads
Yeah.
like, here's my 4/5 again.
I think Nether Goyf would be way more respected if the escape cost was 2. But if the escape cost was 2, I think we would have like bigger problems on our hands. But like, I don't know, it's just one of those situations where it's
Yeah.
like you need to push a card sometimes to make it see more play, but it's seen sufficient play.
Yeah, and like the thing about the Jund decks is that they're already built to turn on like Maximum Delirium by themselves anyway. You don't need your opponent's cards to make your Goyf big.
Right.
That was the strategy.
Yeah.
Of like I need my own deck to do it also. You know,
Yeah.
I'll play the baubles, I'll play the instants and sorceries, I'll play a
Yeah.
planeswalker, right? And
Yeah.
this is always going to be like a 5/6 in a majority of my games.
I think actually the only creature type, there actually is no missing creature type in this deck.
Yes.
There is one of Grist in the.
I mean, they're missing Battle. Battle's a new one. Couldn't grow the Goyf.
Oh, come on now. Those cards don't exist.
Why? You don't like Vampire Hexmage?
You know, the only play. I'm sort of disappointed that they didn't increase battles as time went on. I thought they could have been
That it was
really
like just like the
interesting.
one set?
Yeah, I think they actually could have increased that.
A little experiment, yeah. It might be that we'll see them come back in like the next direct to modern set.
But like, there's a fight every set, so why don't you just print a fight every set?
yeah,
right?
there's like a conflict of some kind.
like if you're only printing one Planeswalker set, like why isn't one battle each set like sort of in the mix, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, that the like
'Cause they're
design
not-
space of Magic,
'cause
they're just trying to do random shit
yeah,
now.
Yeah,
like
this one
every set.
Planeswalker isn't going around smelling roses everywhere, so like there's obviously fighting happening. So
Yeah. All right, looks like Ryan's digging for lands here.
I think he found
Did
one.
find one. But Ryan actually has an aggressive board presence now.
Yeah.
Got was able to get under counterspell. And
Surveil land it is because you found your tempo loss, but let's see where it goes.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, sure it's a tempo loss, but at least you fixed your next draw.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a deck like this, right? Like, because like you know, I'm playing Surveil lands, you know, in decks that like don't really do any graveyard shit, and they're
Yeah.
still good. Ryan's deck, sometimes his Surveil lands just draw you a card.
Right.
It's just, you know, tap land, draw.
Okay, so I think what Ryan's doing here is trying to find out card types. So if he discards one of the proper types, he gets 2 untaps on combat. He did not. So we're at enchantment, creature, and
Tragic.
land only with the 4 cards.
Yeah.
But he did gain haste.
And interesting is that Ryan does have Counterspell. And it's like, you know what? This one's fine. Chooses not to Counterspell here, but is going to take not the most amount of damage.
I could see deciding not to counterspell in this situation, only because you have a higher potential of playing something large like a Murktide that you'd rather protect it with.
Yeah.
Or if you have like a pitch to a force negation.
Yeah.
I could see. I could also just see like Oculus, right? Your opponent's tapped out. You can put a 2/2 on the ground and have the 5/5 in the air.
Yeah.
I could see the Surveil being a lot more effective than what we see right here in front of us.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Just try to stonewall a little
Oh,
bit.
here we go.
Maybe
We
just
got a fatal push here. Perfect.
Yeah. Great.
But
yeah,
now
because Fomo's scary in that
still doesn't have Delirium.
Yeah, it kind of stacks with itself.
Yes.
You can do it so what you get 2 additional combats if you attack with both.
There's also something weird with Fable the Mirror Breaker as well. I've seen that in some lists.
Yes. Yeah, there's some tricky things you can do where, you can attack with one Fomo, leave the other one back, and then during the extra combat, attack with the second one, untap the first creature that you attacked with again, and then attack for a third time.
All I know is that we're in a different world of 2-drops when it was like Stoneford, Mystic, Bob, and Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Like, we are like in very different worlds.
Here's effectively Squire
Yeah.
with the dies for any removal spell.
Yeah.
And now we have because the thing about Fomo is that it has the templating of Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yeah.
Where if you're empty-handed, it's just draw a card.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when I first read it, I was like, this is a fucking standard card.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of text. Like
Yeah.
sure, there's Delirium. But we're talking about like extra combat steps.
Yeah.
So here
I'd
comes-
rather see these cards milk through standard though instead of like the
Yeah.
Horizon sets, but that's just me. Oh, here we go.
So there's a Surveil off of Dragon's Chandler, drawing Ryan D another card.
Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't have a swamp because he got rid of that fetch land earlier and he decided not to keep that fetch to hit a black source.
Right, so he's firmly Gruul Delirium right now, which I
Yeah.
mean, like, the
It's
black
working.
was already pretty light in this list.
Yeah.
It is like a red-green, like, kind of splash black deck. But, all right, so are we going to see Arena Glory Exerted for a hasty something?
I see a Phoenix on the top, I think.
Because, it looks like, Ryan missing a land there was a little bit hurtful. Because he doesn't have Counterspell up.
Yeah,
Maybe he
I
has
could
Spell
see Phoenix
Snare.
being the cast here.
Just
Nope,
another
okay.
one. And what's interesting here is that he tapped
he has one red in the pool.
Yeah, one Arena of Glory red, I believe.
So
here.
he's going to use that
split
mana
it.
to
He can escape Phoenix.
collect evidence, to collect evidence onto one of the Fomos, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think he was hoping to rip like another Chandler off the top to
Yeah.
then haste that out for a lot of damage this next turn.
Yeah, Ryan missing land drops on the IHOP side of things is definitely punishing right now. Yeah. So this is going to be the effective turn for sure.
Yeah, here comes Phoenix. So the weird thing about Phoenix is that when you bestow it, it's an enchantment, not a creature on the stack. So Ryan could force it.
And if he uses the removal spell in response, it just comes in as a 2/2.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
That's correct, yeah.
So he can negate it, but it comes in as a creature.
Yes. Very weird.
Magic the Gathering, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Ask your local judges why that works the way
Yeah,
it does. It's probably layers or some shit every time.
All I remember is that 4/2 Satyr, and I'm like, I'm not playing this deck in Standard. That's all I knew. That's all I knew how that card worked.
Yeah.
I played Thoughtseize and Blood Baron of Vizkopa, so I was fine during that format, but yeah.
All right,
Yeah, so here's the push. Then the Phoenix comes in. All right, here we go.
And it still has haste, so I mean, you're still getting bashed. So, which,
So
with
7, 10. There's a 10 damage attack coming. Ryan's going to be at 2.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then untap Channeler, attack
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
put him to 2, which is outside of some very, I'm not even sure what the draw looks like on Ryan P's side, but
Yeah.
I think this is basically dead.
Yeah, because even Toxic Deluge won't get you out of the situation because your life total's too low.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flood Moon's not good here. Yeah.
No. Yeah, not. especially.
So when he activates Bauble on your library, that's when you concede. Okay, no, you don't? All right, got it.
Showed it to him. Better be good. Thought Sky was not good
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, scoop it up. All right, so both decks had their time in the sun
Yeah.
to show why they're being played today.
Yeah.
Ryan P's deck betrayed him a little bit by not
Yeah.
giving the third land. So I think he
Yeah.
did have Oculus in hand, and if he could resolve it.
That's the difference between Thought Scour and Preordain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I myself have a sleeved up Frogtide here,
Yeah.
but it's not Frogulus, it's Frogtide.
Yeah.
And like, I understand why everyone's on the Oculus plan because Unearth is a crazy card.
It is.
Like Dark Ritual is always broken, right?
Yes.
And if you can maximize that fact of Dark Ritual, it's always an
Yes.
effective card. But being able to get to that point is sometimes difficult. I'm more of the tempo strategy, so I don't really go all in on that situation. But you can always respect this type of style. It's like even if you milled over Harbinger of the Seas and you fetch Swamp Unearthed at turn 2, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
like
whoops.
yeah, like. There's some
Right?
crazy
Or like
synergies
Nightmare
here.
scenario is like, end step, Surveil, oops,
Yeah.
Harbinger, untap, Unearth. You're just like, well,
So how many lands is he running? So 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18. So 18 plus 2 sink into stupor. I
Yeah,
think
20.
he's technically a land shy. I think these are the types of weird decisions
even
that
though
you have.
like percentages, yeah.
Yeah, see, if I was Ryan Pino's registering this deck list, I'd either cut one Murktide Regent,
Yeah.
or one of the Spell Snares, or one of the Bowmasters. Like just one of those copies of cards, and just add the 19th base land, because those are the games you lose, right? Like,
Yeah.
If you have one lander, I don't even care if it's a fetch land when you're on the IHOP kind of deck. It's like you can't afford.
I don't
that.
think so, yeah, because like even the cantrips he's playing, right?
Yeah.
Don't really help you find lands that effectively.
Right.
Right, because like Thought Scour is a blind draw.
Right.
So it's literally just a redo.
Yeah.
Consider digs you or lets you check one card.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, see,
Not crazy.
Yeah, like on the Frogulus side of things, I would cite in these Thought Seizes, these Toxic Delusions, and these Graveyard Trespassers, and the next Harbinger of the Seas, and I would get rid of all these Force Negations and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I would get rid of. Actually, I would probably get rid of Counterspell before Force Negations. Like I would play to the board so hard so quickly and use Force Negation as backup first.
Yes.
Before I'm holding up 2 mana and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Right. Like your opponent is playing Nethergoyf and Dragon Rage Channeler. Your counterspells are doing jack shit. Like this isn't a Murktide mirror like from 2 years ago. Like this is a different situation with a completely different animal, right?
Yeah. Like
So,
this is a classic like who's the beatdown, right? Like both these
Yes.
decks are, trying to win on a similar turn count.
Right.
We gotta figure out like who's a little faster. And I think
Yeah.
Jund Delirium is a little speedier.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
And their disruption is way more effective. They have Pick Your Poison, Surgical Extraction, and Nile Spellbomb.
Yes.
Like you can't be sitting there thinking, oh, okay, my creature will always be fine at all points in time. It's just not true, right? Like you need to be able to protect your threats at all points in time, especially when you're doing something like unearthing your creature, right? Like
Yes.
you can't just be like unearth, oh, I have mana for counterspell at the same time. It's like I understand like the Force Negation only works on your opponent's turn, but like if you're in that situation anyway, well then you stall for a turn, right? But,
Yeah. Well, Ryan's in the play. And Ryan got the old turn 1 DRC.
Yeah, and then we only have 4 removal spells. We have Fatal Push. Yeah, we don't even have like other one. Like it's rarely happened, but like there's a Bloodchief's Thirst as a sorcery speed removal for 2 drops
Yeah.
of planeswalkers and creatures. So we don't see any copies of those. We only see a few copies of Orcish Bowmasters. Like, there's no way to get rid of this. There's no way to get rid of this Dragon Rage Channeler unless there's a Fatal Push in his hand right now, and we see a Surveil land as a decision. So here we are. So we have a Surveil land, and if it's not sufficient enough, it's gone, right?
Yeah. So again, Ryan is staring at also a counterspell in hand, which he is going to tap out and just
There we go.
Bowman.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
he found a Bowmaster. Perfect. Okay.
not bad.
No, that's exactly what you need in this situation right now because any baubles are punishing. Ryan actually sort of has to somewhat respect the Bowmaster. Yeah, so he will destroy it.
Yeah.
There. So Tarfire in the bin. We have 3 creature types. 3 card types. There wasn't a fetch land, so we don't see the 4th.
Yeah, so still a 1/1.
But we still see it. But we see an Arena of Glory, Fomos, Nethergoyfs.
Or escaped Goyfs, I guess.
Yeah.
But also Flytrap, hasted.
Yeah.
Gets out of control very quickly, especially if you can assemble
Yeah.
the 7 types.
Perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, here's push into Frog.
Yeah. Okay. See, and this is exactly where I would like to see a Force of Negation in his hand.
Yeah.
But he has a regular counterspell.
Sure does.
And it's going to be tough because if this Frog dies, we are in such a bad position with the IHOP deck.
Yes.
So Ryan has to analyze everything in his options, and he's going to go with Malevolent Rumble right off the hop here.
Dig. So this won't find an answer to the Frog.
But that Ominous Flytrap is going to be sufficient enough, maybe?
Looks like he has Fomo is the front card in Ryan's hand.
So the land doesn't help him cast the Nethergoyf that's in his hand.
So I guess the land from the pile is Stomping Grounds.
I'm
it's
starting to
also not
think your
helpful.
decision is Ominous Flytrap or Bauble, and either one's respectable.
Oh no, it's Arena of Glory. A second Arena, yeah, is not gonna do a lot of.
So he picks the Flytrap. Okay. So he has the green source.
Yeah, there's-
Plays that, passes. Yeah.
I think this might just be lights out now.
Yeah. See, this was the very polarizing turn. Now that he's untapped with the counterspell, I could essentially assume like most of this game is over. You're going to be drawing free cards. You're going to be sacrificing this Eldrazi. But like, if I was Ryan P on the turbo part, I would just exile these 3 cards from the graveyard. I wouldn't think twice. I would just gain flying.
Yeah.
I would just draw the card.
Guarantee the card
I would just
draw,
draw the card
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, because with Frog out, you don't really need, I think, Murktide or
Yeah.
Oculus at this point.
No.
So you can just use those as discard fuel if you do draw them.
Yeah, I think not exiling 3 cards from the graveyard is a slight mistake here, but we'll see what happens.
So yeah,
He
Ryan's
just
going to let it
doesn't even
happen.
block. Okay. Yeah, see, I would block to stop any of this from
Yeah,
happening.
those
but-
are hard decisions to make. It's like, do you chump just to deny a card? Like
Well,
probably.
yeah, because like now if he actually draws protection, now you're hooped.
Yes.
Like he had protection, but he doesn't know that, right?
Yes.
Like there was no thoughts he's cast this game, so it's like you don't know what your opponent has. But let's put it this way: anything he draws is bad at this point because your board sucks,
Yes.
right? So like you don't have an extra, you're not playing against an extra frog. It's like he could play Floodbringer right now, and
Yeah.
we're done.
Yes.
Right? Like you have to block. Like in my
Yeah.
opinion, you have to block. Like even if he drew a second counter spell, you're done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like everything that's a spell makes the situation worse.
Yes.
Like you have to hope your opponent has 4 lands in hand in order to be like, well, I have to let the frog hit me. Like
Yeah. Okay, so a ray of hope for Ryan here. We can
got
now
a black
fetch
source,
Black
yeah.
Source, so he can. He has to assume that Ryan has a counterspell at this point.
Oh, no,
so
for
you
sure.
have to play him.
Hey, come on, you know
well,
everyone.
he knows because of the Malevolent Rumble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
You know this
so
one
he's
girl
gonna
with the
like
Yes, that's
so.
Ramona
So I guess he has to jam the known card, let him counter it, and then play Goyf.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think there's another line.
Right, and then hopefully Goyf is big enough that you have that you can force Ryan to at least discard a bunch of cards to keep the frog alive. Otherwise, he's just going to jump at this next turn anyway.
And
too.
also Ryan's the Jund Delirium list, it doesn't have hard removal.
yes,
There's no fatal pushes. Like we see Tarfire, Thoughtseize, Violent Urge. We do see a Grist.
one of.
Yeah. So now the turbo side of the deck, you don't have to counter much, right?
Mountain.
It's a mountain. Okay.
So he's afraid of Harbinger.
Okay.
But that still strands Goyf.
Okay.
In both the graveyard and in hand.
Yes.
I mean, I think at this point, like you just say, look, if you have Floodbringer, we're
Yeah.
done. Like
so
game's over.
Ryan's other card in hand was a Fear of Missing Out.
Yes.
So I assume what's going to happen is that he's going to cast the Fear of Missing Out and hope that that gets countered, and then play the Flytrap.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna do the haste. And he's gonna split the red.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this does, force things from Ryan, where it's
Yeah.
okay. Now I have double hasty
Yeah.
threat.
Yeah. He's
Choose.
under the assumption at this point that like one of these isn't resolving.
Yes.
So he has to tap one of these other sources to split the mana, and he's going to play Fomo first. He knows about the Flytrap, so there's not much of a decision here. It's just you play Flytrap with haste.
Yeah.
You just play Flytrap
I think you
with
do
haste.
have to jam Flytrap first.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just like if
Let him
it's
counter it.
countered, it's countered. We're fine.
And then the FOMO might get you back in the game.
yes.
Right? Okay, so
it
Fomo's
does
in,
go
Fomo's
Fomo
in
first.
first.
You know, and this is one of the scenarios, where you're
All
just
right,
giving
lets
your
it
info
resolve.
like free information.
Yeah.
All right, where it's like, oh, you have 3 mana left. Like, what are you gonna do with it? I wonder.
Yeah.
And does the thing that we all expected,
Yeah,
which
here's
is
the Flytrap, and then here's the counterspell.
yeah, can't let that resolve.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
Yes.
And this still has haste, so
Yeah, and then
and
it's
it still has delirium.
It can't untap itself, can it?
I believe it can. So you can do a pseudo vigilance here. Maybe it can untap itself.
Oh, it says target creature, does not distinguish between
Okay.
itself and others. So yeah, no, that works.
So yeah,
So the
Ryan
card's even
just-
more busted than I thought.
Ryan
Binders
just gets
today.
in for 4, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm that big of a fan of. I think I'd be more inclined to hit in for 2, untap it, and then just like block Frog.
Yeah, like I can understand the conservatism of the choice of just finding the basic mountain in order to like avoid Flood Moon, but like
Yeah.
if you're gonna let your opponent draw 2 cards, you're just gonna go balls deep anyway, and you might as well get the swamp.
Yeah.
right? Like it's
Because
one
then
of
at
the-
least Ryan has like a recursive threat now to like
Yes.
try to keep in the game.
yeah. It forces opponent to like exile some of the cards in his graveyard, but like
Yes.
like your opponent just played the 1 ring on you and they're attacking for 2. Like that's the real issue with the Frog. It's like which is why it's so potent even in Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, well, first off, Legacy can't handle Dreadhorde Arcanist, so like it's obviously not going to
Yeah.
handle this Psychic Frog. But
Yeah, I mean, like a lesson that I learned time and time again is that drawing 2 cards a turn in Magic is really, really good.
yeah, it's yeah.
Regardless of how you do it, if you're drawing in 1 extra card than your opponent, like that usually wins the game by itself. Right?
Yeah.
It's the reason why the 5-mana Teferi was played for so long.
Yeah.
Because it was just draw an extra card every turn.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that there's no hard removal, we're looking for a pick your poison at best.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, 'cause-
this is fetch shock black source guaranteed, and then you have to leave a green open for fear. Like I would filter out the land right now. So this is the thinning part.
Yeah.
This is the thinning part where I would respect thinning a little bit more. Okay, so it's just straight
Just
up counterspell.
counterspell.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's nothing left because now the Frog is able to discard instants and sorceries. Your opponent is empty-handed. You discard the instant and sorceries.
Yeah.
You exile them from the Frog, and then Murktide grows.
Yes.
Like we're over. Like
Yes.
like I can easily see this 12-point life swing happening without issue.
Right
because
now, yeah.
Murktide right now is currently a 5/5 in the air, and then we have a 1/1 Orc and a 1/2 Frog.
Yeah.
If you discard 3 instants and sorceries, that's 6 power.
Yes.
So you have 4. You have 4 plus the 8. Yeah, that would be it.
That's
yeah.
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 Yeah, even 3 instant sorceries is 12 in the air.
Yeah. Here you go.
Right. And like the funny thing actually is that even if Ryan did rip Pick Your Poison, Ryan P could also just like discard cards and then exile and
Yeah.
get Frog flying and then
Yeah.
sack it. And
Yes.
just have like
Yeah.
a gnarly size Murktide.
Yeah. You want to know a really sweet play that happened a few weeks back? So I was playing Murktide. My
Yeah.
opponent played Pick Your Poison, and then I played Dress Down in response.
Remove flying. Wow, that's gross.
And he had a second Pick Your Poison in his hand, and he couldn't cast it. Because it still wouldn't have done anything. I was like, oh man.
Well, yeah. If you could cast a second one, he has to choose
Yeah.
enchantment on the first one to get rid of the dress down,
Yeah.
and then again
Yeah.
be like, please fly.
I swear, Dress Down is my favorite card because I know how it works and my opponents don't.
There's some
Yeah.
crazy
Like-
weird shit that dress down
Oh
does.
man,
Like
instant speed blue humility that draws a card is beyond insane.
really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
It
very
doesn't really
funny.
work against Dryad of the Elysian Grove, unfortunately, but everything else, it's pretty fantastic.
Uh-huh. I mean, yeah, so many turns where it's like, I'm going to use Arena, I'm going to haste this, go to combat, I'm like, hey, dress down.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, some cards actually, I don't know if Arena works this way. It's memory based. So, like, say you even through the breached a
Yes.
creature, it's actually spell based. It's not the creature base. So the through the breach actually works on. The through the breach will give the haste,
Yes.
but the creature has no abilities.
yes.
So it's a little weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Arena actually works that way.
It is based on timing a little
Yeah.
bit. If you Arena, or no, I think, yeah, if you Arena with a dress on already in play, it'll get haste.
Oh,
But if you
because it's
dress
learned
down-
after and learned before?
Yeah.
Oh,
If
okay.
you dress down after, then it deletes it. Same with through the breach. If you dress down first, they can breach, it'll have haste, no other abilities, whatever. But if you do it afterwards, then it just forgets about haste.
Yeah, so I hopped not only one at giving out breakfast this morning to everyone, but it also won at the third round of here.
Yeah, congratulations,
so
Ryan P.
So modern staple graveyard trespasser being shown there.
Yeah,
And
Keeping the worst mechanic in Magic around.
why not? Yeah, day night. Let's go.
Fucking day night. Just an eyesore.
Okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. So that is round 3. I think we have to have at least 5 rounds. But we'll find out when we find out.